Hey, Creatorholics. I've recently been reading a book, and I may have spoken about this book before, but it's by Dr. Dain Heer. And I've been reading the book, but what got me to go to the book was a podcast that he did. And he said something that was really interesting to me that I really believe is true. And it works on a lot of different fronts. The basic concept is truth is light and lies are heavy. Truth is light and lies are heavy. And there's a lot of layers to it. One of the things that he stated that I thought was really fascinating is when we're consuming news or we're consuming stuff on the daily that we're hearing that we don't believe is true subconsciously, it feels heavy. You know, the media and all the things that are happening right now, it just feels heavy because sometimes our subconscious knows, like, there's not an energy congruency there where the words are matching what they believe. And we're subconsciously feeling that from them, and it feels like they're lying, and it's heavy. And also it goes to a personal level of telling lies. Jordan Peterson always talks about this, about just tell the truth. And if you are telling lies, or if you're lying about something that is not true to you, whether it's emotional feelings that you're feeling, you're like, oh, I'm fine. That builds a heaviness. And if you tell the truth, it's out and it feels light. So you can feel heavy on a personal level because you're not communicating to another person in a way that's truthful with how you're actually feeling. And another way that I really am fascinated with is even deeper than that is, what are you doing that's not in alignment with who you are and what you believe? And those are lies to the aligned center of yourself. Are you doing a job that feels heavy because it's not in alignment with what you need or what you want? Does your life just feel heavy because you know you should be doing this or pursuing this thing, but you're not doing it, and it just feels heavier and heavier and heavier? And it made me stop and think about what it is that I'm doing in life that's causing heaviness that I can't let go of or I can't shed. What am I doing in life that's not bringing lightness, light in a sense of beauty, and light in a sense of just light, feeling light in life, like everything's coming. It's not difficult. You're moving towards peace, and it just happens. Like, I remember the first time I got a big ad, custom project that paid quite a bit of money, more than I've ever made on one thing in particular. I remember getting the call from the person that hired me at the end, and it didn't take me very long to make the music for the ad, but I was on the phone, and I had never done one this big before, so I had budgeted aside money to help mix, to help master, to make this thing this perfect little thing. And I'm on the phone with him, and he says, hey, they love it. They love the ad. We're going to move forward with it. The music's great. You did a great job. And I'm on the phone, and I said, okay, cool. So when do we mix? And he goes, no, they're happy. I'm like, well, wait a second. Like, no, we need to master it. It needs to be. He's like, no, you're done. Just send me an invoice. And I had to stop for a second because it was like, I first of all didn't feel worthy of that kind of money for the amount of work that I put in, because we're so used to, oh my God, I got to work so hard to make this money. It's like, it might have been the most money I've ever made for the least work I've ever done. Now, granted, I've spent many, many years honing the ability to compose and play different instruments and all that kind of stuff. So I've done a lot of the work ahead of time. But it really made me think of why are we feeling this heaviness and having to feel like we need to do all this to validate our worth and validate what somebody pays us or validate how somebody feels about us. If we're just true to ourselves and the words match the energy, things just happen. Things just come to you and you don't question it. You just, oh yeah, that's what I was hoping would happen, or that's what I was manifesting, or that's what I was looking for. things don't always have to be heavy. And it was really fascinating listening to the podcast to think to myself, well, in those three elements of telling lies, consuming lies, and doing things that are in alignment with what I want, it actually put a validation and like a quantitative element to, oh, I can start looking now at why this feeling of heaviness exists. Goodness gracious, why is it so heavy? And I can go through my day I can zoom out and I can look at my life and go, well, what's heavy in my life? What am I lying about? Why am I telling people that I'm okay if I'm not okay? What am I doing in my day-to-day that's causing this heaviness? So, take a moment after this podcast and maybe sit in silence for a second and really ask yourself, where in my life in those three specific areas, what am I consuming? What am I saying? And what am I doing to make my life heavy? And how can I lighten things up? Peace and love. Thank you so much for listening. If you're new to meditation, experienced with meditation, or looking for a new one to add to your collection, go to createaholics.us to download my free custom meditation, A Glowing Heart. It'll guide you on a journey with handcrafted music to bring light and energy to our most valuable asset, our heart. Peace and love.